Let's make egg salad sandwiches today.
Boil up some water, don't forget to salt it. Get some beautiful bacon sizzling. All right, we're gonna chop some celery too. Boil those eggs. We're using 30. Chop some green onion. Chop up that bacon. Make an ice bath. Chill off those eggs in an ice bath. Start peeling. Smash the eggs. All right, add your celery. Add your green onion. And add your bacon. And then these 4 go in there too. Give it a quick mix. Add some mayo. There we go, that's the right consistency. And finish it off with just a little bit of mustard. Not a lot, just a little. Toast some bread.
Now that looks delicious.
My favorite one-pot fettuccine alfredo. First, start by adding grated Parmesan to a blender, then Greek yogurt, garlic cloves, lemon zest, lemon juice, salt, and pepper. Now we're gonna blend it all together until it's creamy. I realized halfway through that I forgot the olive oil, so here's how it looks now. Then add your pasta to a large pot of boiling salted water, save some pasta water, then drain your pasta and add it back to the pot. Pour your sauce in and the pasta water, then mix it all together real good, and that's how you—
I'm gonna show you this really cool hack that you can do with most Trader Joe's frozen items. Most Trader Joe's items come in these little cubes, and you know what these are perfect for? Frying. All you need is some flour, some egg, and some panko breadcrumbs. I went from the flour to the egg to the panko, and then I threw this in the air fryer for about 7 minutes at the highest temperature. This is so cool because so many of their frozen things come in these shapes, so the possibilities are literally endless, and it's so good.
Here's the famous Texas Roadhouse cinnamon butter. You take 2 sticks of butter and a tablespoon of honey and whip that together. Add in a half cup of powdered sugar and a teaspoon of cinnamon and mix until thoroughly blended. Stir in your fridge.
All right, today we're gonna make some homemade kimchi. We're gonna need 1 whole Napa cabbage. You're gonna cut these up long way. This recipe is from a Korean chef named Roy Choi, so it's definitely foolproof. To a food processor or blender, we're gonna add 1 cup of Korean chili powder, 1 cup of roughly chopped onions, 15 cloves of garlic, a 1/4 cup of ginger, 2 tablespoons of salt, 2 tablespoons of sugar, a 1/4 cup of fish sauce, 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar, and 1/2 cup of water. You're gonna blend these all together until super smooth, and then we're gonna go through each layer of your cabbage and apply this paste. And once you apply it to each layer, it should look like this. And then you're gonna just take that paste and smear it all over the cabbage as much as possible. Cut these up, throw them into a jar, put them in the fridge for 2 weeks, and then
Put you onto the best crock-pot chicken you'll ever have in your life. This is by far one of my favorite recipes. The chicken literally just falls apart. It is so flavorful and delicious. I put this in this morning, didn't have to think about it all day. Dinner was ready at 5. We love this for salads, wraps, tacos or burritos. Hit that like and follow button if you—
Lunch today was creamy hummus with naan. Why didn't anyone tell me that the secret to extra smooth hummus is adding ice and not water? Secondly, remove the husk from the chickpeas, and if you don't want to do it, that's what the kids are for. The ingredients are 1 can chickpeas, 2 tablespoons of tahini, and I had to try the TikTok hack of microwaving your lemon. I think that was 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Then salt, garlic powder, cumin, and a 1/4 cup of olive oil. Blend once and then add a few cubes of ice and blend again. Try it, you might like it.
Martha Stewart's 1-pan pasta. First, you gotta break your linguine in half. Cherry tomatoes cut in half. Onion. Garlic. Basil. 5 cups of water. I like a lot of red pepper flakes. Salt. And pepper. And you gotta cook it on medium-high, and you have to stir this frequently so your noodles don't get clumped up together. And I think what happens is while you are cooking this, all of the flavor is absorbing inside of the pasta noodles. So the noodles are so flavorful. I also like to add in a little bit of red wine, olive oil.
Easy weeknight, juicy chicken thighs. Get your rice going. chicken bouillon. Boom. Drop it. Butter, rice. Clean and prep your thighs. Olive oil all over. Get it in there good. Tony's Cheshire. Get it all over. Onion powder. Get it in. Garlic powder. Complete seasoning. Get it in. Black pepper. Paprika. Boom. Get it in there good. Should look like this. Cover it. Fridge for at least 30 minutes. Vegetable oil. Butter. Sear on both sides. Don't mess with it. Flip. It smells so good. Look at that. Transfer to baking dish. Baking dish. Get some of the oil in there. Oven at 350. Cook it for 20 minutes. Then uncover it another 10. Finish it off at 450 for 5 minutes. Done. Juice over rice. Chicken.
Brown bananas, you make banana bread. It's just something everyone should know how to do. Start off by melting 1 stick of butter. Once it's melted, add in 3 bananas. As the bananas get riper, they release more sugar, so the browner the better. Mash them up until they're nice and smooth. Get your anger out. Once smooth, crack in 2 eggs. Look at the double-handed crack. And a dash of vanilla. Mix it all together, really incorporate it in there. In another bowl, mix 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of sugar, a teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of cinnamon, and of course, a pinch of salt. Mix that all really well together and then add that to the wet ingredients. Stir it together until a beautiful dough forms. I always add a cup of chocolate chips, but this is optional. It is that easy to make. Pour into a greased loaf tray and bake at 350 for about an hour. It's worth that time, trust me. And there we have the loaf of banana bread in its glory. The last thing to do is just slice and enjoy. Follow me on Instagram and YouTube.
This honestly reminds me of vanilla ice cream, but with cauliflower instead. I know it sounds a little crazy, but trust me, if you steam and freeze the cauliflower first and you blend it all up, it makes it nice and creamy and delicious, kind of like vanilla ice cream.
Let's try making some competition-style barbecue chicken thighs. So this is what the competition guys do when they compete in barbecue. I've never made these before, but they look pretty fun, so let's give it a shot. The first thing is to kind of square them up, remove the skin, trim all that excess fat. We're going to cut off that piece of bone that's underneath. Then you're going to take your chicken fat, scrape all that thick fat underneath, make it nice and even with the meat, just like so. Then we're going to season the chicken on both sides and the skin. Put it back on, and now it's time to throw it on the smoker. Using a little meatloaf pan, couple pats of butter, little chicken or beef stock, and the chicken goes in for about an hour and a half. Afterwards, take it out. We're gonna dunk it in some barbecue sauce on a wire rack for about 10 more minutes until it's fully cooked. Now, ideally, you want these guys looking nice and even like little chicken pillows. Mine weren't quite there, but they smelled amazing, so let's give them a shot. The chicken came out awesome. Nice bite through on the skin. I'm not a big competition guy, but these were fun to make.
I've been making a prosciutto head every Halloween for the last 6 years. It's always a big hit. Wash and sanitize a life-size plastic skull. Use cream cheese to glue your plastic eyeballs in the eye sockets. Next, use about 10 slices of room temperature prosciutto. Mold this on every part of the skull, leaving only the eyeballs and the teeth exposed. This can be made up to 1 week ahead of time. Just cover tightly with plastic and store in the fridge. I like to serve mine on a platter with charcuterie and cheese. Enjoy!
Tonight, it's game night. I'm cooking up one of my family's favorites, Chicago-style Italian beef sandwiches in the crock pot. We're starting with the chuck roast, seasoned with, you guessed it, salt and pepper. Put the chuck roast in the crock pot. Add 1 packet of good seasons Italian dressing. Add 2 32-ounce beef broths. Add 16 ounces of sliced pepperoncinis, drained. Add 16 ounces of mild giardiniera peppers. This is a regional thing to Chicago. You might need to get these online. Add 2 beers, or 1.5. Cook on high for 1 hour, 6 hours, low and slow. I like to remove the roast, shred it up, and remove some of the fat. Put some beef on the bread. Add some mozzarella cheese. Put in the broiler for a couple minutes. Add a little au jus, and this is what we call a Chicago cheesy beef.
Anytime I post a picture with steak in it, I always get comments and messages asking me how I cook it. It's funny, I actually learned this method from a Joe Rogan podcast I listened to a long time ago. Normally I would do this in my smoker, but it's getting really cold here in Chicago, so I'm going to do it in my oven instead. I highly recommend investing in one of these oven-safe thermometers. I use mine all the time. The steaks go in the oven at 250 degrees until they hit an internal temperature of 125. While the steaks are in the oven, I get a cast iron pan scorching hot. I like searing mine in ghee, but any high heat oil will work fine. Sear them 1 minute on each side, let them rest 10, and that's it. Full detailed instructions are in my ebook. There's a link in my bio for that. And as always, be sure to hit that follow button for more easy recipes.
15-minute plant-based meals